Brigantia Blackbird of Blackbird's Brew. Happy Monday and welcome to Norse Studies. My apologies if you can hear the sounds of construction. It's going on across the street. I'm in the very back room of my house. I'm as far away from them as I can possibly get. I've got the door shut. I've got the window shut, but they do make an astonishing amount of noise. So if you hear them this week during the videos, please accept my apologies. I'm afraid this is something that was beyond my control. But on a more cheerful note, let's talk about honoring Baldur. In previous videos, I've covered that traditionally, at least according to some of the sources, that the winter solstice is considered to be the time of Baldur's birth, and the summer solstice is the time of Baldur's death. This mirrors other figures of myth and legend who have a seasonal, cyclical role of birth, death, rebirth. So in my personal practice, I treat Baldur's life cycle and his death in that particular way. He's the herald of the strengthening sun, and then he ritually departs when the sun begins the process of fading. His movements in between the realms of life and death and then back again are part of what sustains the natural order. If we look to stories involving Baldur and his foreknowledge of his death and the ultimate inevitability of his death, despite the efforts of his mother, I think there's a powerful lesson we can take from that, namely that all things end. Just as summer must give way to winter, and the seeds of the crops must eventually be harvested, day must yield to night, and the natural counterbalance of any form of energy must get its due and then flow back into its opposite in due course. Baldur's good nature, his vitality, and his vibrancy is such that no one ever wants to see traces of him fade. The gods mourned greatly when he passed. And there was only one in all creation that refused to weep for him, and that's what ensured that Baldur spent his time with the dead until the natural time for him to return to the world came once again. When we look at this story as a metaphor, rather than just taking a surface-level interpretation, it becomes clear that there's a number of reasons why Baldur's death was necessary, despite the pain it caused for all those who were affected by it. Without the light, which Baldur embodied, and if it did not fade when it should, then nothing in the world could come to its proper conclusion. In one retelling of the story, I related how, Baldur kept on going, everyone kept making sure he was safe, and while this was going on, the crops were rotting in the fields. Nothing was cycling back and forth the way that it should. Even the gods were blinded by this perpetual summer, and everything in the nine realms was getting dangerously unbalanced. So the scales had to be set right in order to prevent further catastrophe, and in order to make sure that the realms regained their proper equilibrium. We know that death is the counterbalance to life, and that each must give their way to the other in their turn. Now, Baldur has a difficult role to play, as evidenced by the myths and the legends and the links that were really required to get him into this birth, death, rebirth cycle from the word go. His nature is to sustain life, so withdrawing from that task can't be easy, even though it's necessary. Both his character and his sacrifice is worthy of respect. So let's discuss how we might show it. To begin with, we can remember him and vocalize our respect for his role in each seasonal switch. Showing him honor in solstice rituals demonstrates that we understand why his strength must ebb and flow for the continuation of life, and that a sacrifice when his influence begins to fade is actually appreciated. Baldur was known for his beauty of character and for the beauty of his face. Creating beautiful things in his name is a way to express veneration, and improving one's own character and conduct is a way of emulating his best qualities, proving the value that we place upon his example. And a third way is to adorn the altar with solar symbols and references, and then dedicate that arrangement to Baldur. Leaving offerings of lit candles or drinks that involve lemon are another way to give him honor. And those are just a couple of ideas just to get you started in your own thinking process if you would like to give him a little bit of attention in this season. So those are my thoughts about it. Let me know about your own experiences with Baldur, things that you have done to express your respect and veneration for him. Tell me all about it in the comments, or come see us at Blackbird's Brew on Gilded. There's a link to join us in the description box, and you'd be very welcome there. But I think that will do it for now, and I'll see you next time. Bye.